PAL Lighting is a globally distributed line of wirelessly controlled underwater LED lighting and controls for pools, spas, landscapes, water features, and outdoor accent lighting. Our passion is to be able to light up any space, whether it's a pool or spa, an outdoor living area, or anything else in between. The result is the most powerful, reliable, and diverse line of wirelessly controlled lights in the aquatics industry that are fully compatible with today's major pool automation systems. Light up the night with PAL Lighting. Ready to learn more? Visit us on the web today at pallighting.com.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast, where we dive into the latest trends, products, and stories that are shaping the pool and spa industry. I'm your host, Joe Trusty, editor of Pool Magazine, and today we're excited to talk with Alex Granlund, product marketing manager for King Technology. They're makers of the popular FROG products and leaders in pool and spa water care. It's a pleasure to have you with us today on the show, Alex.
Thanks for having me. This is pretty exciting for me to be able to talk with you and talk about King and our new products. Love it.
We're pleased to have you and eager to talk shop with you. You know, I thought a good starting point for our conversation today, Alex, would be if you could give our listeners a little bit of a background about what you do as product marketing manager for King Technology.
Sure. Yeah. Number one, we're looking out about 3 years out, 3 to 5 years is what we kind of talk about with our product development roadmap. We've got a horizon planning after that, but what we really try to do is focus 3 to 5 years out, looking at the different channels that we have, the different markets. And we started out in pool, and we were known as a pool company up until about 10 years ago, and
Right.
we really started in changing into the spa market. And people now think of us really as a spa company, which is funny because we were in pool for 40 years.
Sure. I mean, that's the connotation that I have every time I see the brand. Spa pops immediately into my mind. I know prior to working with King Technology that you personally came from a world of lawnmowers, chainsaws, tractors with arrowhead. I mean, what's been the biggest shift for you personally going from an engineered products background to the world of pool and spa chemistry?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My biggest hesitation of coming over to King Technology was kind of my fear of the chemistry side, and not sure if I could make that transition over to, away from hard parts and over to that side of the business, this side of the business, right, with water care. But my hiring manager at the time assured me that we've got an extremely talented group of engineers, including chemical engineers, who would really basically soften that landing for me and to really take care of that water side. And I got to be honest with you, I've really embraced it, really loved, learning about the chemistry. Never thought I would, never thought I'd use this part of, thinking back to my chemistry classes years ago, I never thought I'd use it in real world applications, but it's pretty interesting now. We've got actually a really cool training opportunity for new employees. We call it Adopt a Spa. They actually set up hot tubs for us, and they basically just fill it with water and tell us, make it balanced, right? And it's just, as a new employee, they give you this hot tub and they don't tell you anything about water care. You have to go figure it out. And then, we spend a couple of months, using our chemistries, but before we can use our chemistries, we use the standard chemistries, dichlor, bromine, and just really trying to figure out what the average consumer is doing and see their struggles. And then they give us our chemistries, and it's just a cool transition, being able to really see the difference in what an average consumers get versus a FROG customer. And then also it really helps us just dive into that chemistry and really start learning that business really fast.
Sure. I mean, I came from a similar background, Alex. I originally came from like marketing and IT before I joined the pool industry. So it was a really big learning experience for me personally to get ramped up to be effective in my role when I joined the pool industry. That's a big personal career shift for you. I mean, from mechanical to chemical. What was it about King Technology that kind of drew you in, and how did they help ramp you up to become successful in the role in such a specialized industry like this?
Well, I got to say, it's really the people. I was first told about King from a former boss of mine who was interviewing here for a head of engineering. And for whatever reason, he didn't take the job, but he reached out to me and he said, put them on your radar. They have a great culture, and I really think you'd enjoy it here and be a great fit. And that's been really true. When I started looking at the company and I put an alert, and then 6 months later, this role coincidentally, or probably not coincidentally, right, popped up. And I started looking at the employees on LinkedIn, and it was just impressive and quite intimidating. I realized if I take this job, I'll probably be the least intelligent person in any conference room I'm in. But you know what? I welcome that challenge, and so glad I stepped into this role.
Sure. Right. I mean, I noticed that Star Tribune named King Technology a 2023 top workplace. So it kind of makes sense that, they pay a lot of attention and emphasis into making sure that, new employees can thrive in the role that they're in. But what makes that company culture kind of stand out to you the most?
It took me a couple months to figure this out, but I landed on a two-word response that I tell everybody now that I interview that's coming here. The thing that really stands out to me is no ego. That is how I best describe the King people and the culture. Everybody here really truly wants their fellow employees and the company to win. It stands out with the training. Everybody's willing to help you succeed. Everybody speaks up in these meetings. And we have our core values that aren't just words on paper, aren't just, words on our website. On a quarterly basis, we nominate each other for embodying these values. And then, as somebody who's leading product development, that's something that we talk about anytime we're thinking about starting a new project, anytime we're ideating. Our vision is to enrich lives daily. So the next product that we're talking about, whether it's a product, a service, anything, is it meeting our vision? Is it going to enrich lives daily? That's something that we think about and we try to live out on a daily basis. And I think that's just really cool about this company. And that's why the employees have really bought into it. And that's why we're getting recognized as a top workplace.
Yeah, getting that kind of buy-in is essential. I mean, that company culture and finding the right people that align with your mission is essential. I know you guys got a new president and CEO. He's new in the role of King Technology. He's been there about a year now. I mean, how has his leadership changed things or helped shape things over the past year? And what's the vibe like internally as you guys are looking ahead?
Well, we're a family legacy company, and the King family they're just very intentional about anything that they're doing, and especially this type of hire. And Mike really has embraced and embodied the core values and the mission of the company. He's very upbeat, very positive. It's hard really not to embrace a leader like him and to not be excited for our future.
Well, I know you guys are started out as a real small business in Minnesota. I mean, it's not the first place that people think of when it comes to the pool and spa industry, but King Technology is a major player there. I mean, how does being based in Minnesota kind of shape your perspective as a company?
Yeah, I get that a lot as I'm traveling, especially down south for different shows and stuff. People are like, "What? You guys are in Minnesota?" I think it really pushes us to be more innovative. We have to be really intentional about how and when and where we test. We have a Obviously we have an offsite pool grounds here, 8 offsite pools. They can only be open basically May through September. We start closing them down early October here, right? So it's a very short testing season for us here in Minnesota. We've got an amazing innovation center here in this newer building that we've got, where we've got a lot of tanks, we've got a pool, we've got like, I want to say 18 hot tubs and stuff like that. But it's also made us become very relationship driven. We have to build and we have to foster relationships with pool owners, whether it's here in Minnesota, maybe in Indiana, but also down south. We work with a lot of pool service pros down south that allow us to do a lot of testing and validating of our products. So it just drives us to be more intentional. And that's probably what I think helps our innovation.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's a lovable brand. I got pictures of him with my kids at the show. Speaking of a frog, though, I mean, let's talk about your latest innovation, the Frog Algae Blocker 4 Pro. I mean, which that one just won most innovative product for service professionals at the 2024 International Pool Spa Patio Expo. I mean, what makes this product so unique for you guys?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up because, yeah, we're really excited about it. You know, what makes it unique is probably first and foremost this delivery device. It doesn't seem like much, but this special fabric that really meters out the algicide in a way that gets the active ingredients quickly into solution, but slow enough that it won't negatively impact the filter, the pump. You don't have to turn off your salt chlorine generators. So there's no need to turn off any of the equipment, and it's pre-measured, pre-dosed. So we just talk about it being perfectly measured, perfect dose every time. Again, then you don't have to really be in contact with the chemicals. There's no measuring. There's no complicated instructions on the back of the bottle. One pod is basically 7 times lighter than your standard equivalent quart of algicide. And for a service pro, one of these pods treats 10,000 gallons and then you're done for 6 months. So, if you have a 30,000 gallon pool, you'll drop in 3 pots into the skimmer basket and then you're done. All the algicide releases out, usually within about 3 to 4 hours. And then it's kind of cool. It's got this like out indicator. It floats right on the surface, kind of it goes sideways, and they don't have to do anything with it. They can just come back the next week and dump out the skimmer basket like they normally would, and then they're done. Their pool is protected from an algae outbreak for 6 months. The number one fear from a service guy is staining. And so we've been so intentional about the ingredients about this product. So the delivery device is a really cool aspect of it, but the products inside, it's a copper sulfate pentahydrate, but it's 52% of the active ingredients are that copper. The rest, it's no filler. It's 48% chelants. We got 4 different proprietary chelants, which are stain inhibitors, which are going to make sure that the copper stays in solution and doesn't bond to any surfaces. We wanted to be so intentional about removing that fear factor of staining that we have 25% more than some of the competitive products out in the industry of that stain inhibitor, right? So we just wanted to be really intentional about this product, and the market is really embracing it, and we're just so excited to get this out there.
Now, I love how you broke it down. I mean, I could actually understand what you're talking about, Alex. I don't have to be a chemistry whiz kid to follow you. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Frog is supposed to be easy. We try to make water care simple and efficient for everybody.
Well, you're a product guy, Alex. I mean, what was the process like for you bringing the Algae Blocker 4 Pro to market? I mean, what were some of the biggest challenges or learning moments that you had to face in developing a product specifically for service pros?
First and foremost, as a product guy, got to know what the customer wants, understanding their needs, understanding their pain points. We had so many crazy ideas for what we wanted to do. And we didn't go into this going, we want an algicide. We've been in the algicide market for 23 years. We have a really nice algicide called Frog Bam, which sells very well, but it's a liquid in a bottle. It's like what a lot of other companies are selling. So there's not a ton of uniqueness to that chemistry and stuff. And what we heard after literally doing ride-alongs, going with service guys, working on pools with them, seeing just the amount of work, all the stuff that they're carrying and, not knowing what they were going to see when they went into the backyard when it came to the quality of the pool water, right? And stuff. So all of that research really led us to this product. And it was discussions with service guys, focus groups, one-on-one conversations. That's what really went into this. We've been working on this for really intentionally for about the last 5 years, but almost 7 years of research and development.
I mean, strategic market research, they do a lot of reporting on our industry. They cited a focus on sustainability, eco-friendly solutions as one of the cornerstones that are providing market opportunities in the pool and spa chemicals market. In the next few years, they're projecting that side of the business is going to grow by about 3.9 billion. So my question is, with the pool and spa industry evolving this way, how is King Technology thinking about sustainability and water care, especially with growing demand for greener backyard experiences?
Well, with our combination of mineral and chlorine, we've always, touted being a little more sustainable just because you, we use less chlorine than anybody else, only needing 50% chlorine on our pool side because we are using EPA sanitizing minerals to combine on that. So there's green story with that. We've actually just introduced a partnership with TerraCycle, which is a national recycling company for our hot tub business. But then on the pool side, and shame on me, I didn't realize how green focused and sustainability focused the service pros were, but we had a completely different idea of a delivery device when we were starting to really work on the Algae Blocker 4 Pro. And through all of this market research, the actual conversations with these service pros, they talk to us about wanting sustainability. That they're working with buckets and gallon jugs, 2 gallon jugs right now, just lots of plastic, right? So they really pushed us to be more sustainability focused. And the unfortunate side of the recycling industry is that there really only is truly 8 to 12% of plastic actually being recycled, even if it is considered a recyclable material. So the next best thing when we started working with sustainability experts and different consultants and stuff, the next best thing versus having a truly recyclable material is taking up next to no space in a landfill. So that's, again, what led us to this fabric pod. Once it's empty, it takes up almost no space in the landfill. Tiny little fabric pod that lays flat. And the other great thing about it is because it lasts 6 months, you have a lot less waste that way too. You're not doing weekly doses from these bottles that only last a few weeks, maybe 8 to 12 weeks, and then having to rebuy bottles and stuff. And then on the supply chain side of it, we're not shipping bottles to a filling station, shipping air basically to a filling station that fills the bottles and then ships them back to, our distribution center. So the whole supply chain just got a whole lot greener with our new pod technology.
That's good. I mean, like you said, there's a big focus on that right now.
It's something that we brought over to the retail side. We started off with the Algae Blocker 4 Pro, but we've developed this whole line of pod technology now for the pro retail side, the dealer side, with 2 different algicides, a phosphate remover, and a clarifier. And it's all utilizing this pod packaged in stand-up pouches, they're called, which is widely used now in the food industry. And, you see it at all your grocery store retailers and stuff, and people are putting in other pods and stuff. So, there's a big sustainability focus, not just from what the consumer sees, but from how do you make it more sustainable from a supply chain side.
Sure. I mean, I'm always seeing King Technology practically at every trade show I go to, every tabletop, all the vendor fairs. I know you guys do a lot of sponsorship. You're always doing some training. You always got something going on for the industry. I mean, for pool pros listening, I mean, could you elaborate a little bit about how King Technology supports these guys beyond the product? I mean, what tools, training, or resources do you offer service pros?
We haven't really been really well known on the service side. So we're just kind of, with this new product line, we're really reaching out to them and trying to be more intentional about focusing on their efforts. We are putting training videos for this new product line on a website. We built a whole brand new website for them, frogforpros.com. There'll be training videos, on there for them. We're going to print on a door hanger for them to be able to inform the homeowner of the application of this into their pool. We're also working on a line of wearables. We've been told that they'd really like some shirts and some hats and some other stuff that they can use out on the site. And these will be things that we'll be offering as giveaways to at future shows. So
Yeah, they
And
love
if,
that stuff.
I don't know, do you have any ideas for us? Because I'm always looking for more ideas, more ways to be able to support them.
Webinars are a great way to stay engaged with the pool service pros, conducting surveys in some of the Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. I know I just started up a LinkedIn group called Pool and Spa Industry Professionals. You can join that group and engage with our members there. I mean, there's lots of different ways to tap into folks and involve them in the process and get them involved in the conversation, Alex.
Great. Yeah, I did just see you on LinkedIn, so I started following you on that. And yeah, great information. So thank you.
You know, looking ahead, I mean, what trends do you see shaping the pool and spa chemical space in the next few years? I mean, are there any new innovations you're particularly excited about?
Well, we see a lot of opportunities for our new pod technology, this drop and go technology that we've developed. Don't be surprised if you see us coming out with more stuff with that. And like you said, I see all companies really looking at sustainability. Everybody is starting to really see you got to make it simpler, whether it's the actual pool owner or the service guy, right? So everything is just, I think, becoming a little bit easier to use, if that makes sense. When it comes to directions, there's definitely a lot more training, a lot more opportunities out there to learn the intricacies of water care.
Yeah, I mean, I asked a select group of about 50,000 people who own a pool or hot tub. So I sent these guys out a survey back at the beginning of the year and I said, what's the major pain point about owning a pool or spa? And by and large, most of them said that it's ease of maintenance that they're looking for in their pool or in their spa and their hot tub. So I 100% agree with that sentiment that you said.
Yeah, for the longest time, a lot of the big companies out there, their innovation was just a new fancy label, a new brand name. You're starting to see more effort going into trying to find ways to make water care easier.
Yeah, I mean, what's something about King Technology or your products that most people don't know but probably should?
I think it's that we're not new. We've been around for 40 plus years. We've been in the algaecide business for 23 years. And one of the probably the most interesting facts about King is the amount of expertise we have, especially in the water care industry. Most departments here at King have at least one 20 plus year experience, 20 plus years here at King. So we've got a great understanding of this industry and water care in general. We consider ourselves water care experts.
Well, Alex, thanks so much for taking time out today to connect with our listeners and spend some time with us. I really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you. This was great. Wish I had a chance to meet you down in Orlando, but hopefully at one of these next shows.
Yeah, I mean, Pool Magazine is the digital sponsor of the Pool Spa Patio Expo that's going to be happening in Las Vegas. So if you're going to be there, I'd love to get a chance to connect with you there.
Absolutely. I'll definitely be there.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we have left for today. Make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe. And we're going to catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
PAL Lighting is a globally distributed line of wirelessly controlled underwater LED lighting and controls for pools, spas, landscapes, water features, and outdoor accent lighting. Our passion is to be able to light up any space, whether it's a pool or spa, an outdoor living area, or anything else in between. The result is the most powerful, reliable, and diverse line of wirelessly controlled lights in the aquatics industry that are fully compatible with today's major pool automation systems. Light up the night with PAL Lighting. Ready to learn more? Visit us on the web today at pallighting.com.